The conversation that changed everything. David was sitting in his truck outside a Starbucks in downtown Denver at 6:47 a.m., staring at his phone when his brother called. "You still meeting me or what?" He'd forgotten. Again. 10 minutes later, they were face to face in a corner booth. His brother ordered black coffee. David ordered something complicated he didn't actually want, just to fill the silence. Then his brother said it. "Man, what happened to you?" David's jaw tightened. "What do you mean?" "You know what I mean. You look tired. You look, I don't know, like you're dragging yourself through life. This isn't you." David wanted to argue, defend himself, say he was fine, but he wasn't fine, and they both knew it. David was 44, sales director at a mid-sized tech firm. Decent money, good family, nice house in Highlands Ranch. From the outside, his life looked like it was working. But from the inside, he was barely holding on. Every morning, he'd set his alarm for 5:15 a.m. with a plan. Train, get ahead at work, be present with his wife and kids. Be the man he knew he was capable of being. By 6:30 a.m., he'd already hit snooze twice. By 11 a.m., he was irritable and unfocused. By 8 p.m., he was sitting in the garage with a beer, scrolling his phone, avoiding his wife because he didn't have the energy to have another conversation about why he seemed checked out. He wasn't depressed. He wasn't giving up. He was just fading. And the worst part? He had no idea how to stop it. His brother didn't let it go. "When's the last time you finished something you started? When's the last time you felt sharp? Because I'm watching you disappear, man, and I don't think you even see it." David felt something crack inside his chest, because his brother was right. He'd been trying. God, he'd been trying. He'd read the articles on testosterone optimization and sleep hacks. He'd bought the supplements. He'd tried intermittent fasting, cold showers, morning routines. He told himself he just needed to man up and push harder. And every single time it fell apart. The energy would vanish, the discipline would crumble, the confidence would bleed out. So he blamed himself. "I'm getting old. I'm weak. I'm not built like I used to be." But sitting across from his brother that morning, a different thought surfaced for the first time. What if I'm not weak? What if I just don't know how I work anymore? There's a specific kind of desperation that sets in when a man realizes he's losing the war with himself. It's not loud, it doesn't announce itself, but it's there, in the way his wife looks at him with concern instead of desire, in the way his kids stop asking him to play, in the way younger guys at work start talking over him in meetings. He's not failing at life, he's failing at himself. And the gap between who he used to be and who he's becoming gets wider every day. David had felt that gap for 2 years, and it was eating him alive. His marriage wasn't dead, but it was cold. His body wasn't broken, but it was soft. His mind wasn't gone, but it was dull. He used to be someone, confident, driven, sharp, the kind of man people turned to when things got hard. Now he was just trying to make it through the day without disappointing someone. 3 weeks after that conversation, David was killing time in an REI in South Denver, waiting for his daughter's soccer game to start. That's when he noticed the man near the climbing gear section. Mid-60s, lean, weathered face but clear eyes. The kind of guy who looked like he'd been through hell and walked out the other side stronger. They made brief eye contact. The older man nodded. And somehow that small acknowledgement opened something in David he didn't expect. They started talking. Just two strangers in a store. But within 5 minutes, David found himself saying things he hadn't said out loud to anyone, not even his wife. "Man, I feel like I'm running on fumes. Like I'm trying to be who I used to be, but I can't get there anymore. I'm fighting myself every single day, and I'm losing, and I don't even know why." The older man didn't look surprised. He just studied David for a moment, then asked, "Ever try to drive a car without knowing how the engine works?" David blinked. "I mean, yeah, I guess. That's how most people drive." "Right. And when it breaks down, what do? Take it to a mechanic." "Exactly. Because you don't understand the system. So when something goes wrong, you can't fix it yourself. You just hope someone else can. The man leaned against a shelf, his voice calm but firm. That's what most men do with themselves. They spend their whole lives trying to perform, without ever understanding the machine they're operating. They don't know what drives their energy, what regulates their hormones, what governs their focus, their discipline, their desire. So when things start breaking down, they just try to push harder, force it, white-knuckle it, and they wonder why nothing changes. He paused. You're not weak, man. You're just flying a plane without a manual, and you keep crashing because you don't know where the controls are. David sat in his truck for 20 minutes after that conversation ended, hands gripping the wheel, staring at nothing. What if I'm not broken? What if I just never learned how I work? That night he couldn't sleep. He started searching, not for motivation hacks or morning routines, for systems. How the male body actually functions, how hormones regulate energy, how the nervous system responds to stress, how dopamine controls drive, how sleep architecture dictates recovery. And what he found made him angry. Angry because it was so obvious. Angry because no one had ever told him. Angry because he'd spent 2 years hating himself for something he didn't understand. Men don't run on motivation. They run on systems. Hormonal systems, neurological systems, behavioral feedback loops. And when those systems degrade through age, stress, poor inputs, or just ignorance, everything collapses. Energy vanishes, focus shatters, libido disappears, confidence drains. Discipline becomes a war you can't win. Not because the man is broken, but because the operating system is corrupted. And just like any system, once you understand how it works, once you learn the actual mechanics, you can restore it. David spent the next 8 months rebuilding himself from the ground up, not with motivation, not with willpower, with systems. He learned how his endocrine system actually functioned, how cortisol was sabotaging his recovery, how dopamine regulation was shot from years of overstimulation, how his circadian rhythm controlled more than just sleep, how micro-decisions compounded into macro results. He stopped fighting himself and started operating himself, and everything shifted. The energy came roaring back, the mental fog lifted, the desire for his wife, for his work, for his life, reignited like someone had thrown gasoline on dying coals. His wife pulled him aside one night and said, "I don't know what you're doing, but don't stop. You feel like you again." His business partner noticed, his kids noticed, his brother noticed. But most of all, he noticed. He wasn't a better version of himself. He was himself again. The man he was before the fade. The man he was built to be. Not because he tried harder, because he understood how he worked. What David discovered isn't hidden. It isn't complicated, but it's something almost no man is ever taught. There is a blueprint, a set of principles that govern how men function at their peak, not through motivation, not through discipline, not through sheer force of will, through systems. The male operating system is that blueprint. It's not a course. It's not motivational content. It's not therapy or journaling or hustle culture. It's a manual. A practical, no-nonsense guide that shows you exactly what controls your energy, focus, drive, and confidence, and how to restore them when they've degraded. What you get: the blueprint. Understand the system, why it breaks, and how to fix it. Audiobook. Learn while you move. No background manipulation. Execution workbook. Build momentum, stabilize results, move forward. This is for men who are tired of feeling like shadows of who they used to be. Men who know they're capable of more, but can't figure out why everything keeps falling apart. Men who are done guessing and ready to understand. If you've been feeling like David, like you're losing ground with yourself and you don't know how to stop it, this is your line in the sand. You're not weak. You're not broken. You're not past your prime. You just don't have the manual. Get the male operating system. Understand how you work, restore what's been lost, become the man you were built to be. not through motivation, through systems.